Also, when we denied it the control of 5 states within the peninsula, we did it. We brought about change. We were euphoric. But has there been much change 2 years since that day? But instead, we are becoming more divided along racial lines. Right after March 8th, UMNO embarked on its campaign to strike fear into the Malays and to warn them that they were under threat. Ahmad Ismail called the non-Malays pendatang and was suspended for 3 years, but his suspension was lifted after 1 year plus. The government came to assume a schizophrenic personality. The Prime Minister talks about one Malaysia, while his deputy says things that are completely contradictory. The government talks about multiracial unity, while UMNO talks about Malay unity. Barisan is coming out tops in that effort because it has the media under its control. But both seem to be doing their worst to win the next general election. I hope we would have leaders who would be honest, clean, and respectful of us, the people, who will not think we were stupid or immature. Instead, most of the time we hear of more and more corruption on both sides. I hope Pakatan Rakyat would turn out to be a formidable force, united and effective, providing a strong opposition in Parliament. But look at the state it's in today. The number of elected representatives who have quit PKR is distressing. And Pakatan can't blame the mainstream media for this. Neither can Pakatan blame anyone for its ability to produce frauds. Anwar Ibrahim promised us defections from Barisan to Pakatan on September 16, 2008, but it never happened. Now it's happening, but the defectors are from Pakatan. In any case, Anwar's attempt to take over the government on September 16 was misguided and merely exposed his true ambition to be Prime Minister above all else. What we have seen in the last 2 years is that our leaders are not good enough. Their own party, their own people, and they will do anything to ensure that they get what they want. Let's talk that there are now at least 3 factions within UMNO, and Najib is not secure. We have seen the recent efforts to undermine his administration. The most worrying of the UMNO factions is the right-wing faction, and there is no underestimating their influence. Outside of UMNO, the right-wing movement is apparently gaining momentum, and the Allah issue is giving them the common cause. At present, the most prominent group is the Malay NGO Perkasa. It was formed only 1.5 years ago, but it seems to be gaining support fast. I think Malaysians are becoming more courageous. More and more are speaking up, of all races. Fewer and fewer are kowtowing to the people in high places. Even the sultans are not safe. We are struggling to shake off the culture of fear, and I think we are succeeding. Look at the turnout at candlelight vigils and protest marches. When we were protesting against the ISA detention of Tan Hoon Cheng, Raja Petra and Teresa Kok, I was amazed to see people I never expected would show up at such gatherings. 3 years ago, such people would not have dared come near such activities. The next GE will be crucial. It will determine whether we'll get more of the same old, or whether we will get real change. Whether we will continue to be a nation divided along racial lines, or be hopeful of being a truly Malaysian nation. If we are to keep the March 8th spirit alive and make irreversible the trend to take Malaysia out of the dark ages, we have to do our part. I hope those of you who have not yet registered as voters will do so as soon as possible. Choice is what we have now. That has been the gift of March 8th. We should exercise that choice. for the betterment of our country and exercise it without fear.
8 million citizens went out to vote that day. The statistics will tell you that half, 4 million, voted for a regime change. 50% voted for a regime change. What did they want? The chairperson summed it up. No more marginalization. No more marginalization of our Anak Bangsa Malaysia. No more communal politics. No more corruption. Transparent, accountable government that answers to the rakyat. That's what we asked for. They got such a battering. Maybe they will see the light and begin the move to reform. I mean, if you talk about a two-party system, then a reformed BN is an advantage in such a system to keep a check on Pakatan. But that wasn't going to happen because we saw the component parties of BN, apart from UMNO, start to flounder. MIC was gone, MCA was gone, BPP was gone, SAPP pulled out, Gerakan is nowhere. The reality that we see today is BN is literally BN. What you have really is UMNO. I am convinced that Perkasa is in fact an outreach for UMNO to do its dirty of the past and yet live with the Prime Minister's One Malaysia. Alright? Now, we've got to be alert to this. The third hurdle to us taking this country back from 13GE is us, the middle class. The middle class has so long abandoned the marginalized in this country. We have looked the other way. If you look at the case of Lina Joy, you look at the case of Lina Joy from 2001 to 2007, this woman struggled and fought to enjoy the most basic right, to love, set up home with the man that she loved, and to worship God as she chose to. Alright? 1988, the case of Joshua Jamaluddin was another Malay who converted to Christianity, was detained under the ISA, challenged the detention. The High Court released him and said the ISA could not be used to interfere with his rights under Article 11, freedom of religion. The Supreme Court reaffirmed that decision. Now, the point I want to make to you is this. Between Jamaluddin's case and Lina Joy's, the written law had not changed an iota. Mahathir single-handedly tore down. And what did we do when Saleh Abbas was being tribunalized for what? Speaking up for a judiciary that was being assaulted by the executive? Our institution, he stood up to defend, and for that he was tribunalized, and we looked the other way. I will give you this. In 1988, Mahathir had already successfully rendered the media impotent. The media had been suspended in 87, and by the time they got their licenses back, they were like toilet paper. I want change. They want power. They will press us for the power, but not necessarily for the change that we ask.